All right, gentlemen. So we are live, I believe, and let's try to quickly go through the discussed, already discussed part of our earlier session, and that was uh, to discuss about the enterprise customer support and knowledge automation platform. I already discussed about the objective, which is if I have to reiterate it, then I would say that to build an AI powered support system for an Indian companies, which is companies and SME that leverage LLM agent and vector-based knowledge retrieval, right? Then the solution will automatically initially response retrieve and retrieve context, right? So if I have to run it, then I can see here many things like this solution will automatically initial response, retrieve context-rich knowledge from enterprise data using the RAG, as I already explained you in the last session, and a complex workflow, and securely operate on a cloud platform, right? So this is how we can do. Our business model will be like software as a service, or we can say that SaaS as a service. We can also say this one SaaS as a service, right? So by this, if I have to explain again, I would say that our agenda here is very simple. I'm assuming that AIML or not many SME in India or enterprise, especially which is non-IT domain specific companies, are not very much trained with AIML or large language model or whatever the latest artificial intelligence centric development going on, and how to leverage these AI centric capability into the business so that business productivity or ROI will improve. And since this decade, which is started in such a way, and the recent development in computing power and infrastructure, especially the GPU and other things, which is pushing the artificial intelligence development very fast for each and every industry. So those industries which are not familiar with artificial intelligence too much, they have to come with the business, or they have to attach with the business model where we can outsource. They can outsource their requirement to the company who knows AIML, and they both together will leverage the AI and artificial intelligence for their business purposes, right? So that their ROI and other things will improve. Not only, in terms of like ROI, I mean to say, it overall performance of the company will be improved by using this, right? So the next, we already discussed that what would cover in phase 1, which is primarily generative question and answer segment, right? In this segment, we will try to discuss more and more or solve the problem which currently SME or enterprise have, knowledge based sharing missing, right? As of now, we don't have any very accurate or very exact system where anybody can uh, attach to the system at the moment when they need actually and that is also very personal way, because there are, in my opinion or in my experience, I have seen that generally in the big brand company, whenever many times it is happening that senior and junior interaction are either constrained, or even if interaction happen, it is not happen what exactly juniors require and what is senior providing, because both are overloaded with their work, their timeline, other factor also, and so in totality it is always creating an environment where juniors is always taking more time to learn the nuances of the overall company experience, right? Which is, knowledge experience in terms of knowledge. Right? So this is how, but by using this large language model, we can easily train model or customize our model chat engine in such a way that any kind of knowledge base, if it is in their data, if that information is available in their enterprise data, this model will help anybody at their own timeline, at their own requirement. This knowledge is available to them very easily, right? And for that purpose, we will definitely, I already explained multiple times that retrieval-augmented generation, like retrieve from enterprise data, augment it, and then present it, generate as per the user requirement, right? That is what RAG pipeline is. Of course, RAG is not sufficient, or it has a lot many area which need to be improved or fine-tuned according to the enterprise need. So that is a little bit complex task, but yes, in fundamentally you can only understand that enterprise always has to create a RAG pipeline for their enterprise data, so that that data would not go to the LLM at any point of time. That data is sit in their enterprise scope, that company scope, and that will help the company to secure their valuable enterprise data, right, without releasing to any large language model. All right, so that is the one challenge solved in this approach. So we will build RAG. We will use some concept of agentic framework so that things will be automated. Things will be, I would say that some of the flow will be created in such a way that autonomously employee or customer can retrieve some information without intervention of any human, right? So if that level of automation would be provided in this phase, that would be fair enough. So this is phase one kind of things, and in this phase one only we will, of course, since we are creating for SME and they are not the actual developers, so that's why, to understand the information or to summarize the information, they definitely require some kind of dashboard for their organization, so that anybody can log in into that dashboard and they can visualize what is going on with their data, what is the uses, how the metrics is progressing or moving forward, what kind of data they have to fine tune in future, what outcome they will perceive in one dashboard. That we will think and definitely need to define for SME environment, right? That is how I believe. Then also like some of the, because you have to improve, there is no single bullet uh, will fix every SME problem, right? Every SME have their own customization requirement. So that part need to be discussed between platform team, which is this team who is building this, and then SME team who are using dashboard to see the things how it is progressing. So between them, there need to be synchronization so that, and also there is no straightforward dashboard for everybody. Like you have to create dashboard in such a way that one company wants dashboard in one layout format, and another SME may require a different layout. They can able to do it. That is what required, right? Okay. Because of your business model, you need to give these kind of flexibility. All right. So now coming to the phase 2. In phase 2, as I already mentioned earlier also, that we have to think about I don't know, am I audible? Let me check. I think. All right. So I hope that I'm audible. I could not able to see, but anyway, if anybody is seeing this live, please confirm. Otherwise, I will proceed. Right. So in this phase, I will try to a little bit more deeper, because now it's time to think about the workflow automation, right? Because the initial thing is interact with enterprise data, and that interaction is available for customer as well as employee of the organization, right? SME employees and SME customer both. Of course, both have their own permission level, and both have their own dashboard level also. According to their permission, dashboard will be organized or would be available to them, right? But that is one segment, like interacting with the enterprise data at their permission level. The second important segment, which is workflow automation, because SME happily investing money on those areas which partially or fully it's a time to automate, because now you don't need that much manpower, because our engine is at least intelligent enough to automate 80% of tasks in automation mode or workflow automation mode, right? So that it will execute step by step or with some little bit brain in that, but it will be executed in workflow manner. But 20%, of course, still we need human in loop, because not every decision could be taken by these automation agent. Some decision need to be taken by human in loop at certain level. For example, I am saying you, one example here is that anything which is going to impact your business, right? Because one misfire will give you, say for example, $1,000 loss. Of course, that would be very critical for you, right? That you won't do very frequently, and also very carelessly. You cannot do, right? Because it's a business, right? So that's why, if somewhere human in loop, somewhere you need human, and that human need to be take final decision, of course you will take it, because that consideration would be a valid consideration as per my knowledge also, right? So okay, enough talking. Now let's discuss the data engine and workflow automation. The first segment, if you think here, that I'm talking about the data, how you ingest data. So data ingestion pipeline, right? This is the first thing. We can think about multiple sub area of data ingestion pipeline, like data storage, serverless ingestion, and third is orchestration, right? This is your first, which is document storage, second is serverless ingestion, and third is orchestration. Document storage I would prefer as of now as Amazon S3, right? This is what currently we are looking to store a raw or updated document, correct? Then second is serverless ingestion. Of course, as of now, I am looking for, we will see later, but for now, I think AWS Lambda will be triggered by an S3 event to process and embed new document. So this is ingestion of embedding, like how you will create embedding. I think I have not explained you what is similarity search, why vector database is used here. So that I will explain later, but for now you will just assume that there is a concept. I mean, we are creating vector DB for fast search on artificial intelligence, right? I mean, if you want to do some fast search, similar search, for one pattern you want to find similar pattern in your large set of data, then for that purpose vector database is very useful. And you have seen that lot many vector data which is very much optimized for this purpose. One example is FAISS, FAISS, that is generated by or that created by Meta, Facebook, and it is now open source, done by Meta. So you can freely use this FAISS service, and I think this is very much optimized for vector search. But since maintaining such database by your effort is extra for MVP purpose. So for MVP, even it at the production grade, we will try to use, I mean, as much as possible to release service which is released by a big brand companies as much possible, because those are commercials used for very long time and it is very much tested in the real environment. So those services need to be used for initial purposes. Later we will try to replace these services by our own in-house services, which will help me to cut my cost, overall cost in this service development or platform development, right? So for storage, I have to use Amazon S3. For ingestion purposes, ingestion is basically a logic in which we are building a embedding from the given raw document, right? So that we will do, and here we will try to use AWS Lambda. The third one is orchestration, and here for Apache Airflow or a step function. A step function is basically a, I would say that Azure, Microsoft Azure, I believe, right? For scheduling advanced workflow. So we will try to think about the, I think this is your AWS. AWS have Apache Airflow. Apache Airflow for same kind of work, right? Airflow compared to step function. In AWS we have Apache Airflow, right? Alright. Next is data engineering and workflow automation, and the second part is agentic AI workflow, right? So the first thing we have already discussed now, first this discussed about the data, and the second is agentic AI workflow. What is this means? Let me explain you. So agentic AI workflow also divided in three major parts: decision escalation, CRM integration, and event-driven architecture, right? Event-driven architecture. And this agentic AI workflow is basically a would say that, like, because how we will use these agents, we have different approach, we have different concept to use it, but a simplest one is LangChain or Haystack, right? LangChain. Simplest is LangChain or Haystack. LangChain I have used, Haystack I have not used yet. So in this MVP or prototype, we'll try to use Haystack if easy to use. So I will try my best to use Haystack. Now I will see if it is so much difficult or it is easy to use, right? LangChain I have used, I think it is very easy. Only thing is that, and sometime maybe, not now, but sometime, we can prefer the Python orchestrator, like custom Python orchestrator by own. Because one thing I will point out here, that why sometime custom Python orchestrator, like your own custom Python based basic development, is more powerful than using LangChain or any other such system. Reason being is that you are locked, as well as your code somehow getting abstracted with the real world. Even if you are using the LangChain, you will see that sometimes it is very difficult to debug. What if there is a problem in your code? It is very difficult to understand how to verify it, right? So to solve such problems, I think sometime, or when our product will grow or platform will grow, we will move to custom Python orchestrator also, where the control is in our code, so that we can tweak according to our own requirement, right? All right. So that is one part. Another is CRM integration, right? This part is also very important, because most of the enterprise have their own existing CRM, right? So if they have CRM and their members are trained with CRM, and members are trained with CRM, then ignoring it is not a good choice. Okay, good choice. Okay, so you should not ignore it. It is, instead of it, try to find how to integrate with Salesforce or Gendesk via REST API from AWS Lambda or ECS task. Right? So how you can integrate them, right? That is important. Then another segment which is part of agentic AI workflow is event driven. Use Amazon Event Breeze or SNS SQS to handle asynchronous triggers, example, high severity issues, right? High severity issue. The third one, if you remember, this is security and compliance, and I have already discussed about the security and compliance many times, and that is, it has a two major part, which is, first is access control, and the second part is data privacy, right? Access control and data privacy. In access control, we definitely have to discuss like how to manage the secrets, because Grok Cloud token like Redis credentials, these are important, right? This one tokens, maybe Redis credential in AWS security. This will be put in AWS Secret Manager, so that your credential or anything which is very security in nature should be protected, right? Then control the resource permission via AWS IAM, right? Resource permission via AWS IAM. Use libraries like Microsoft Presidio or custom code in Lambda to sanitize PII, right? Okay. So if I list down the all AWS services we were planning for phase 2, which is storage, Amazon S3 uses, maybe AWS Lambda for serverless purposes. For orchestration, we will use MWA or a step function. For messaging purpose, we might use Event Bridge or SNS SQL. We'll prefer Event Bridge. And then security purpose, IAM and AWS Secret Manager. So these are few important things you have to remember, and accordingly you have to think of it, right? All right. Another phase, which is third phase, which is very much important, and that phase is called, phase 3 is called advanced model customization and optimization. Right? And in this phase, we will first we will do is fine tuning and domain adoption. Fine tuning and domain adaptation. Although the DeepSeek R1 model, which we are planning to use here, is hosted on Grok Cloud, you can provide domain-specific data sets to Grok Cloud for partial fine-tuning or extended training if their platform supports it. What I'm trying to suggest here that we have to look around whenever we are using the large language model of some standard vendor, for example Grok Cloud or maybe OpenAI or maybe Hugging Face. We will always have to check the MOU, check the usage rules, how we are getting what kind of value addition of the vendor provided to the developer community. And if it is helpful for your case, that is really a great thing for you to consider, right? And if things are not as per your requirement, In that case, probably you will look for the best possible open source, or maybe you will check with that vendor also. For example, if I want to use um, DeepSeek, right, R1 model, and I could not find few things in my business case requirement, I may contact the vendor, which is the Chinese company, and ask them, can you provide these things to me? If it is okay for them, they will definitely provide it. If it is not, then they will definitely suggest me what should I do in that scenario, right? So that is what I am trying to communicate, that there is nothing is fixed. I mean, some model which is open source, it is always open to fine tune. But some model which is closed source, like OpenAI advanced models, those models probably is disabled for fine tuning. You cannot achieve the better than open. So here I am trying to communicate that although the DeepSeek R1 model is hosted on Grok Cloud, you can provide domain-specific data sets to Grok Cloud for partial fine-tuning or extended training if their platform supports it. Alright? We also think that adapt prompt engineering in AWS before sending requests to the model. Custom embedding, right? So custom embedding is something which is consider using a specialized embedding model tuned for your domain. Alright? So consider using a specialized embedding model tuned for your domain. Could be run on ECS with GPU or an EC2 for instance, then store in Redis. The next big thing is performance optimization. And as you know that inference cost going forward, when lots of big brand company will build their own large language model, after that the war started for inferencing. Who will provide the best cost saving or cost efficient model for inference? And if you talk about the Grok Cloud is totally based on this concept, and they are only providing these benefits to end user or to customer by providing the inferencing capability of their model. And so, for example, inference cost and latency, right? Inference cost and latency. So evaluate AWS Direct. Let's stop for some moment and we'll come back.